everyone, because the lecture will last for approximately 1 hour and with Q&A session following immediately. Few quick reminders before we really begin. So please turn on your cameras because it will create a more interactive and engaging environment. And feel free to take notes and also participate actively in the chat. So if you have any questions that would be delivered orally, you can just simply raise hand and mention your name and also mention the question. Maybe you can deliver in Bahasa. I can help translate it later on. Yeah, or maybe
question from chat.
oh yeah, or maybe better in chat box. It's okay. Okay. So any question is fine. Okay. Before we begin, I will also be reading briefly your background work. Yeah, maybe briefly because it's way too long. Really interesting. So Professor Yaswan Visnuvan Satak is active full-rank senior professor and associate dean for faculty affairs in University of South Florida, USA. And previously, he also served as assistant dean for research and graduate programs in Sullivan University, Kentucky, USA. And lots of awards, fellowships he received during last 10 years. Yeah, it's quite a lot of, and recently in 2025, he received Mandela Washington Fellowship in exchange award for Nigeria, West Africa. And also the publications, 450, right? 450 papers already published in reputable journals internationally. And currently, 2024, he also just published a journal in Journal of Clinical Pharmacology. Lots of patents also he received for its 5 patents for the last 10 years. And also is actively working on some book chapters. Yeah. And international collaborations also he maintains globally, including Indonesia, and hopefully with CFAR in the near future. Okay. With that, it's my pleasure to hand the screen over to you, Prof. Patak. Yeah, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Atika Darumas. Thanks for the beautiful introduction. It is a little longer, and I'm sorry for that. Respected Dean Sri Haryanti, Dr. Bayu Trimurti, who is the Vice Dean for Student Affairs, and all the faculty, then my dear friends, it is my pleasure to be at STIFAR once again. I was here a few years back, and then I also participated in online conference during the COVID. So today, I'm going to touch 2 different topics. The first topic we are talking about is on nano drug delivery technologies, which is recent advances and future trends. And it is very interesting to see how the pharmacy field is changing, and we'll have some more interaction during the presentation. So I will start my presentation. I want to make sure to make a disclaimer that all figures are taken from web sources just for explaining the concept and not for any commercial purposes. And this talk is presented at Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Farmasi Yayasan Farmasi Semarang, Indonesia. So, apa kabar? Mohon maaf, saya tidak bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia. Selamat, congratulations to be apotheker, and selamat belajar. Keep calm and speak bahasa in Indonesia. That is what I learned since last several years. I have been visiting Indonesia, and recently I landed in Jakarta and then took a taxi. And then when I was talking to taxi driver in Bahasa, we started our conversation with the taxi driver, and he did not know a word of English. I didn't know much of Bahasa, but we shared our knowledge about Shah Rukh Khan and then Salman Khan and then Amitabh Bachchan. the taxi driver was fan of Amitabh Bachchan. He said, I saw all the movies of Amitabh Bachchan. So we could communicate for almost 2 hours about Indian Bollywood movies. And by the time the hotel came, so learning Bahasa and helping it, keeping yourself calm, because for 20 kilometers, we spent almost 2 hours in the car. So it was very interesting, but it was fun. So nama saya Yashwant Pathak, saya Barasal dari Tampa, Florida, Muluk, India. Saya Bekarda University of South Florida College of Pharmacy. Saya professor in Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And this is the beautiful campus of they call it South Campus because it is surrounded by the Gulf of Mexico, all beautiful water and very nice area. And just behind the campus, you see all the green area. This is called Davis Island. So we are also, Tampa has 7 or 8 islands as part of we are like Indonesia, a smaller one. So, Ada Petanian, if you have any questions, I would like to request you to write the questions in chat box, and Dr. Atika is kind enough to translate that into English, and then I will be able to answer those questions whenever you have the question. So, human body is a network of networks. So in good old days, 100 years back, most of the scientists used to work on organ level. So there were diseases of heart, diseases of lung, diseases of kidneys. So it was only on organs. So more focus was on organ level because at that time we did not have technology to understand further. And then gradually we started learning about the network of tissues. So our body has different kinds of tissues. The muscles are there, the ophthalmic tissues are there, cheeks, they are all tissues. And these all tissues were also part of your body. And then we started learning as the microscopy came into picture and scanning electron microscopy came into picture. We started learning on cellular level. And from cellular level, we moved to molecular level. And in last 20, 30 years, we are moving towards genetic level. And we are understanding that diseases are not simply caused by bacteria, but there are certain chronic diseases which come through genes to the next generation. So normally, if your mother or parents have diabetes, in all the probabilities, the children will also have diabetes when they grow older, or arthritis, or breast cancer, or different kinds of cancers. So the genetic level is now on a large scale being studied all over the world. And now we are addressing the disease phenomenon using gene technology. And that is known as, they call it immunotherapy. And we'll discuss more about that. But nowadays for cancer, what they are doing is they take the blood of cancer patient and then separate the genes out of cancer patient and then find out in that particular gene structure what amino acids are causing cancer, and they clip those amino acids and connect it, and then they re-inject that blood back into your body, and then these clipped genes prevent the growth of tumors in the human body. And that is how the immunotherapy is working, clipping the genes and identifying what is cause of the diseases is at a genetic level. And probably in another 10, 15, 20 years, you will find another level of understanding, but we don't know what it is, because when I was a student, we never had thought about genetic level. We never had thought about molecular level. But in 50 years, the things have changed from organ level to all the way genetic level. So this is a typical picture which shows networks of the network in human body. So it is organ network, cellular network, molecular network, and then genetic network. And what is next, we don't know. But these networks work with each other, and they are like our social network. So we all are, Indonesia is famous for Facebook, which is a social media. Indonesia, everybody, including the president, everybody has WhatsApp. And I'm sitting here and I was drinking some kelapa and I took the picture of kelapa and I sent it to America. in 10 seconds, my wife saw that I am drinking Kelapa with ice cream. And this happened only in less than few seconds. So this networking, what body networking is also like that. Suppose you are walking and you see fire. If your eyes see the fire, the eyes, which is the organ, transfer the message using cellular and molecular network to your brain, and then brain activates and sends a message to your leg saying that there is a fire and you will get burned. And this is how the network of the network works. No?
This one. Yes. How about now? Because there's a problem.
What happened? They are not listening?
Yeah, no, I mean the
can't see video.
Oh, okay. Slideshow.
slideshow. How about
No, this is.
Now it is okay?
yeah, now it's okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's before.
Yeah. So sorry about that, the technology thing. But as the WhatsApp works, the social networks work in the similar way, our body is nothing but a network of the networks. And that's why we have to address and we have to start learning more and more about genetic level, because in another 10 years, most of the drugs, now everybody says tablets are popular, but we'll see what is the popular dosage form now for the new thing. So in 1854 to 1955, the person survived, his name was, he was a German biochemist Paul Ehrlich, and he used the concept of magic bullet. And subsequently, he got a Nobel Prize in physiology. What he was saying 100 years back was that you can create a bullet which can go straight. You can deliver that bullet to the cancer tumor and then kill the cancer. And that is how some diseases can be treated with a magic bullet. And he used the concept in those days, magic bullet. But subsequently, that work was utilized for chemotherapy of cancer and then many other diseases. So what is nanomedicine is, so nanomedicine is a concept which sprang out of the visionary idea of nanobullets and nanorobots. And now nanomedicines are a common discussion on different platforms, and on more than 300 drugs are approved by FDA for various applications of nanomedicine. And the concept of nanomedicine is that the particle size of the nanomedicine should be between 1 to 100 nanometers. That is the FDA definition of nanomedicine. And it has branched out in hundreds of different ways. So you have theranostic, you have diagnostic materials, you have many different types of drug delivery systems, you have medical devices, you have nanorobots. So all these things, and surgery is using all these nano things in day-to-day surgery. I had my knee replaced and they did that robotic surgery. And to do the robotic surgery, they use the nanorobot to find out what are the areas of knee to be covered, to be cut, and all those things. So it was very interesting to see how technology is taking. And nowadays, media also looking at nanotechnology as a great thing. So you will see a lot of media reports in different countries about and different applications of nano in all these things, cotton-based goods. Yeah, and this is a Chinese newspaper covering nanotechnology applications. I can't read it, but some of you may read it. Then there is a nano missile fight cancer with green tea. That is the coming out of Bangladesh, which is another area which is working using the herbal drugs for nanotechnology. And then you have UV absorption, you have all different types of applications of nanotechnology, antimicrobial use, sunscreens, clothing, sports equipment, quantum dots, all these things are, and your cell phone, what you use day to day, that cell phone is nothing but a nanotechnology, because, within a second, I am sending a whole picture to America, and that only happens because of the nano channels which are present in our cell phone. So nano is applied in all different types of areas, and you have nano spinning of nano gold, and gold particles are used as carriers for anti-cancer drugs, and that's why Another area which is significantly growing is nano applications in solar energy. So with the same solar cells, but using nanotechnology, you can have more efficient and higher level of energy created through the sunlight, and that is growing. Probably in another 5 to 10 years, whole world will have nano solar panels in their homes. So if you look at this caption, you will find that there are therapeutic nanomaterials, antimicrobial nanomaterials, inorganic, organic nanomaterials, quaternary ammonium compounds. So there are all gold nanoparticles, quantum dot, and they are used in many different areas of our life. And what I will recommend is that you write an email to Professor Vayu so that you can get this PowerPoint presentation. I'm requesting him to share with you all so that you can study at home about the what I am talking here. So agriculture area is another thing. You know, we are now almost very close to 8 billion people, and you have to feed 8 billion people. So nanotechnology is now being used to increase the production of food grains, and it is helping a lot. So they improve the quality of the soil, increase the productivity, stimulate the plant growth, and provide smart monitoring of the drugs. So now in America, they put up GPS on the tractors, big tractors, and then that GPS will guide you. So for 10 years, it gives the data how what plants were implanted in what areas, and then you change the soil, and from one point to other point, or three plant can be used. So this is very interesting applications of nanotechnology there. Another area is that people are now developing plant-based therapeutics. So like this is a picture of the tobacco leaves, and you can include genes in the tobacco, inject the genes into tobacco leaves so that the tobacco leaves can produce peptides or produce proteins, and those proteins can be used for medicinal applications. So they are called as plant therapeutics. So if you Google plant therapeutics or plant-based therapeutics, you will find so many papers which are exploring different kinds of plants to create drugs for human use. And then there are in textile industry also, it is widely used for water repellent, anti-static properties, wrinkle resistance, UV blocking, competing, all sorts of things are there for nano application. So now you will ask me who is the greatest scientist of nanotechnology. So you may tell me different names, but actually if you look at the nature, Mother Nature is the greatest scientist of the nanotechnology, because the gold which is available as a mineral is always in nanoparticles. The volcanic ash is a nanoparticle. You eat grapefruits or orange fruits. If you look at the orange fruit under scanning electron microscopy, you will find that they carry the nanoparticles. Your bacteria, viruses, all are nanoparticles. And then plant kingdom is full of nanoparticles. You have icicles. So you have everything. Now we are understanding more and more about nanotechnology and in application. So today we are going to talk about how recent trends which are happening. So new trends in drug delivery technology is that more than 4,500 active technologies are developed and explored for different applications of nanotechnology in various aspects of drug delivery and medical applications. And new technologies are giving technological advantages to the industry, because if you have a regular FDA approved drug and if you convert it into a nanoparticle, then you can get another patent, and that patent can be valid for at least 14 years. So you can invest money to get the product in the market, and then you can get the returns of that product. And that is why, and some companies are very successful. One product can bring, if you know, Lipitor was the product of Pfizer, and Pfizer made $18 billion on only one product. And now COVID vaccine, Pfizer made $56 billion just of one vaccine, which is a liposome, which is a nanoparticle. So it is really encouraging for the industry to invest money into nanotechnology to make different new drugs which can be more therapeutically effective. And new products using this technology also help the industry to explore new therapeutic indications. So This caption, you will see picture liposomes are 80 to 300 nanometer, silica magnetic nanoparticles are 10 to 300 nanometer, solid lipid nanoparticles you can get up to 80 to 300, polymeric nanoparticles can be between 10 to 100 nanoparticles, dendrimers are even smaller than those because they come up to 1 to 10 nanometers, and carbon nanotube nanoparticles are around 1 to 5 nanometers. So you can see how wide range of nanoparticles can be used to drug delivery system. So in the recent trend, what is happening is that nanostructures and nano devices are used as theranostics. So they help to diagnose as well as provide therapeutic effect. Then lot of analytical and imaging tools are coming up with nanostructures. Your microscopes are getting more and more powerful. A lot of devices are becoming more and more useful, and you get a lot of analytical tools. We'll see some of them. So targeted therapy and drug delivery is another area which is growing for pharmacy, and tissue engineering, regenerative medicine is another area. Like if a child is born without the ear, then what people do is they create nanorods or nanoplates and they put it around your ear, and then you add stem cells into it, and then gradually those stem cells grow and the muscle mass grows around the ear, and then you give a shape to the ear so the deformity can be removed from the child face. And this is where that is called as regenerative tissue engineering and regenerative medicine, and that is working. So which is the most popular route of administration? If I ask you, and I ask this question to many people, and most of them say tablets. We like tablets, or they say capsules. But nobody thinks what is happening in the world and how the things are changing. So if you look at the developing drug delivery technologies, you will find that most popular dosage form or drug delivery is injectables. So 2,408 different products are injectables. And we don't like to get injections, but nowadays these nanoparticles are so fine, and you are getting the needles also, which are very fine, that you don't get scared with these needles because you don't even feel that somebody has injected something in your body. So 2,408 injectable number of products. Oral is 935, which is almost one third. Dermal products are popular, inhalation products, transmucosal medical devices, ophthalmic devices, otic are only 29. So you can understand that the absorption surface, when it becomes tougher, people don't use it as absorption. Like ear is not a good absorption site, but ophthalmic is better than ear. So you have 229 products there. So medical devices. So this is a new trend happening in nanotechnology applications, and more injectable products are coming because new drugs, oligonucleotide, the gene delivery, the polymeric delivery, so all these new drugs, peptides, proteins, they are all in nano range and they can be delivered using nanotechnology. So it is easy to inject them in the body because they have stability problem which can be resolved by injection, rather than if you take a tablet of peptide, probably peptide will be decomposed right in the stomach itself. So that is the challenge. That's why people are using injectables as most popular thing. So you can look at the injectable drug delivery. Targeted injectables are around 960 products. Injection systems are around 768 products. Prodrugs are 390 products. Injectable depot products are 244. Concentrated formulation for further dilution if needed is 92. And you can see this is also used for beautifying purposes. So now everybody wants to be beautiful. Everybody wants to look handsome. And that's where a lot of people do plastic surgery, or a lot of people have skin problems. So you use different kinds of injectable nanoparticles into your skin on the face, and you can change the appearance of your face. And Michael Jackson, a very famous singer, he tried to change his face with plastic surgery 1,000 times, So there are new technologies now which are specifically addressing the diseases and disorders. Like cancer has around 758 products, endocrine are 631 products, infectious diseases 561 products. So you will find that all these major diseases have different, there are so many products to treat and they are used mostly based on different types of nanoparticle drug delivery system. And good number of our nanoparticles are in clinical area, the clinical studies. So 45% are in phase 2, your 37% are in phase 1. So all these products are gradually will be in the market. You may not get those products in Chemia Pharma as on today, but over the period of time, these products will become common and to be used by the doctors. But now today, nanoparticle technology is for a specialized delivery, for a specialized, so you need some expert physician to monitor and see that the nanoparticles work very well. So this is types of clinical nanoparticles are, you are using it as protein, polymeric or liposomal products, metabolic, lipid-based and other products. So these are distribution of different types of products or particle drug delivery system. So you'll find that liposomal is very popular because almost 44% of the products are liposomal, which are under clinical studies. And they are at different phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials, and they will be gradually come into the market. Now, there are different types of groups addressed. So you'll find that in COVID, a lot of research was done on nanoparticulate liposomal drug delivery for COVID vaccine. So most of the COVID vaccines were liposomal delivery, and now they are moving towards mRNA-based vaccines, which are again liposome, and they are using it for various diseases. And then there are neoplasm, the infectious diseases, pain management, dental disorders, and other diseases. These are some of the areas where phase 1, phase 2 trials are going on. And types of nanoparticles approved by FDA are, 29% are polymeric, 21% are liposomal, lipid-based products are there, 22%. So you'll find that there is a different percentage of different types of nanoparticles which are used for drug delivery systems. And then these are some of the, I'm sorry, this chart is too overcrowded, but you can study at home approved nanoparticles for cancer treatment by the FDA. So now we will look at some of the very interesting technologies which are recent developments happening for new drug delivery technologies. So one of these is known as Pearl porous particle program. And now you can see these are the nanoparticles and they appear to be porous. Now we are seeing this is a transmission electron microscopy picture, but by naked eye you will not be able to see those particles because they are almost 10 raised to minus 9 meters. So these porous particles can be the drug can be incorporated inside the porous particles, and then you coat it with polymer. Once you coat it with polymer, you can put it into a inhalation device. So at the bottom, this is a device which is inhalation. Oh. So this device, the inhalation device, so you can use nanoparticles using the Pearl porous particle and deliver the drug for lung treatment directly as an infusion. Now the advantage of is that the surface area in your lungs is almost in miles because the alveoli totally goes to more than a mile area. So to cover all the alveoli, you need nanoparticles. The nanoparticles are such a large surface area that they can cover the whole lung particle, and the absorption can be better because every lung area can be used as absorption for the drugs, and that is the Pearl porous particle technology is growing. They are trying to use these for different types of application, and this technology is capable of delivering consistent dosing of one or more actives in combination using ultra low doses. So when you use nanoparticle, you don't have to give the regular doses because higher surface area, so you need less amount of drug, so less toxicity also. So this is another technology which is growing, which is called as cell-in-box technology. And this is developed by the company called Pharmaside Biotech. And this is a capsule in syringe. Now we eat big capsule by oral, but now these are the capsules which are going in syringes as nanoplates or nano capsules. And these are you can see the pictures here that you can incorporate the drug inside the nano and then convert that nanoparticles into a capsule which can be injected. So you will have that capsule circulating in your arteries and releasing the drug, and that is or you can implant in muscular area of the body and then the drug will be released. So cell in box, so these capsules can carry live cells, and that is an advantage where you can deliver the live cells in the body. We all need different types, our body is full of bacteria and we need some cells which can really protect ourselves. So, and those cells can be delivered to this, and the capsules are claimed not to cause any tissue inflammation or degrade even after being present in the body for 2 years. So you can get the release of drug for 2 years. So the process of this cell into incorporation is very simple. So you take the live cells are mixed with the proprietary polymer and the polymer solution containing sodium cellulose sulfate, and then it is mixed with passed through the droplet forming machine, and then droplets containing the live cells fall in the bath containing polymer B, and then this polymer B will coat those droplets, and then your cells will remain intact inside the coated polymer, and then the capsule that further those polymer B will provide a capsule type of shape to the nanoparticles, and it can be injected into the system, and this is how live cells can be transferred. So nowadays they are using live cells for stem cell, RP cell, all different types of cells can be delivered. So, and they can remain there and regeneration can happen this is a nice technology which is developed. Then there is the Illustris technology, which is a platform technology for topical enhancers, ocular topical formulation, buccal and sublingual formulations, vaginal delivery and general application. So Illustris Pharmaceutical Dosage Forms is a company which is doing this, and Illustris technology facilitates the delivery of actives through the tissue structure by deploying the decoys, and many of such relax anchors. So they use as anchor, they stick to a particular tissue and then gradually release the drug over the period of time. So Illustris system is claimed to optimize the delivery of macromolecules like proteins up to 460 kilodaltons that cannot be normally delivered with topically or non-invasively to the skin, eye or mucosal area. This is the advantage of this Illustris technology. Then there are some interesting new drug delivery technologies which are known as Clearside SCS microinjection technology. So they are using microneedles, poration, microneedles, ocular drug delivery devices for skin treatment. Also, a lot of microneedles are utilized. And these microinjection platforms provide a non-surgical approach to the drug delivery to the posterior eye segment. So now you are creating nano microneedles which go inside the eye and deliver the drug. So my lab used to work in ophthalmic drug delivery systems, and we had 5 patents in that area. And we used the thermoreversible polymers, which were around 100 to less than 100 nanometers, and we injected that inside the eye, and we showed that it can be useful in macular degeneration. So that was our research work in this area. But this technology is very growing fast, and they are working on delivering. It is a platform technology, so you can utilize different drugs for that. Then there is another technology called PolyXen, which is Genetic Biosciences is a company. So here what they do, they take a molecule, which is a PEG molecule, and then they put a linker there. So, and then the linker is attached to drug. So the linker can be dendrimer, and dendrimer is the polymer, and then you can attach a targeting moiety to the dendrimer, and another part is attach the drug, and then this polyethylene glycol will take this drug to a targeted site in the body, and this is called PolyXen targeted drug delivery systems, or pro-drug also technology, where they use polymer polysialic acid PSA, a pro-drug technology for injectable sustained release of protein. So now you will understand why there are 1,000+ injectables, because of the particle size and application. So more and more new drug delivery systems are more based on injectable drug delivery rather than oral or capsule or skin products. And this is natural human polymers can be used, and PSA provides a protective microenvironment and this can be prevent the recognized immune system, so you can really target and in a way you can manipulate and then the body system so that you can deliver the drug. So the site of attachment and length of the PSA chains can enhance the properties of the therapeutic by changing the apparent hydrodynamic radius of the molecules, and it can also be used with small molecule drugs. Now there is another technology which is called as biodegradable non-PLGA microcaps implant, biodegradable gel suspensions, ocular implants, and rods and microcapsules. So nowadays what people are doing is they are creating a platform technology. And in platform technology, you can apply many different drugs and then deliver it. And each drug will become an intellectual property. You can get patent out of that. So this is another platform technology which is used for different types of applications. So it can be in the gel form or microspheres or coating or strands, and a bioerodible injectable implantable drug delivery systems which can be implanted subcutaneously or intramuscularly or intraocular application that can take a form of a gel. So what we had created was also similar type of material. We use the polymer A where we put the drug, and then we coated it with polymer B, which was a thermoreversible polymer, so that it becomes gel at the body temperature and remains sole at the 20 degrees centigrade, and that is where the advantage comes in. Once it becomes gel, then the drug is released over the longer period of time. So this is a patented 4th generation polyortho-ester polymer, and they are using it for bioerodible drug delivery system. The polymer contains copolymerized acid that control the erosion rate. And this is where this polymer is now FDA approved. So you can utilize that polymer for drug delivery. Then there is a macroglassification technology. This is another area where you can use the cell media extract or formulated proteins, because there are many beautiful drugs, very effective, but they cannot be delivered because of the stability problems, which are proteins and peptides and oligonucleotides or your genetic modification. So this glassification is cell media extract is converted into emulsification with microglassification solvent, and then separate the dried protein from solvent, and then you get nanoparticles as shown in the picture here. And these nanoparticles are less than 100 nanometers in the particle size, and they are glassified. So they are coated so that they are very stable. So your cell, you can incorporate cell into it, you can incorporate proteins into it, you can incorporate all different types of things. And this is a microglassification. Formulated biologics are often stable enough for long-term storage, transport, incorporation into drug delivery formulation, and suspension of microglassified proteins have a much lower viscosity at a given concentration, and this is where they can be used. So they use different types of alternative processing for glassification using compatible solvents to remove water from the proteins, and those dried proteins are incorporated in the polymer which is glassified. And this is a very interesting technology for delivery of proteins now. A lot of researches are going on in that. So there are another interesting new ocular drug delivery system is print ocular implant technology. So ocular implants, rods or macrocapsules can be put inside the posterior eye. So you lift the front eye and then put it inside, and then that implant or rod will remain in eye for a long time. And we used to do that in the animals. We have seen very successfully we could do that. So they are mostly ophthalmic implants inside the posterior eye to treat macular degeneration, treat glaucoma, treat cataract, and these are some of the applications of this implant. So this is a biodegradable polymer, so it gradually degrades over the period of time. Now you can understand that when we do the dissolution studies, you use 900 milliliters of liquid. When you do smaller dissolution studies, you use 10 ml of liquid. When it comes to eye, your concentration of liquid is only 0.5 milliliter, or very small amount of liquid is there. So if you get a 3 months delivery, or if you get a drug which is delivered in 3 days in 10 milliliter, will take 3 months in your eye when you inject inside the eye. And this is the advantage of finding out how your eye and all eye diseases can be treated with these ocular inserts or ocular implants. So Another area is called precision particle fabrication technology. So now what is happening is, as the FDA controls the nanomedicine between 1 to 100 nanometers. So when you manufacture nanometers, nanometers can be from 1 to 1000 nanometers. Now, if you have a particle size distribution from 1 to 1000 nanometers, then obviously it doesn't fit into FDA definition. And that is why you have to create precision particle fabrication technology, where you restrict the particle size only up to 100. And that 100 is done with this new technology. Other this is a platform technology. So they use nanoparticle spray drying, electrospraying, test masking, oral liquid, biodegradable PLGA microcaps, implant, or otic delivery formulation. So this is a company, Orbis Biosciences, and they have created many of these optimum products, and they call it optimum platform, or union platform, or start micro needle platform. So these are the platforms which are now being explored for delivering different kinds of drug, and some of them are in the clinical study levels also. So another area which is called as InCube Reni swallowable devices. So now these swallowable devices they swell. Once they inject in the body, they swell in the size. And then the polymer will convert into gel, and then the drug will be delivered over the period of longer time. And this is especially used for inner ear drug delivery or cardiac delivery, where they use the swellable drug delivery system. So there are InCube labs, Rani Therapeutics, and they are creating these drug device capsules. So these normally are biodegradable, ingestible robotic pills that deliver the drug in intestinal wall, and then they anchor in the intestinal wall and gradually release the drug. The device consists of an indigestible polymer and tiny hollow needles made of sugar that are designed to safely deliver and via intestinal injection, and then drug attached to the small intestine and gradually release the drug. So this technology is potentially useful for oral drug delivery of drugs that are poorly absorbed. So longer time they can remain in GI tract and then can be absorbed. And they are tolerated and degraded within the GI tract. So you can utilize this technology to deliver peptides, proteins, antibodies, RNA therapies, select vaccines. So this is interesting because these normally cannot be delivered orally unless you have a device. And that's where you are using this technology to put it in. So here are some drug delivery formulation approvals in US and Europe in last 10 years, which is gradually growing. This is another data which talks about formulation approvals based on molecule type. So you have small molecules, antibody, carbohydrates, cell therapy and gene therapy, oligonucleotides, peptides and proteins. So these are different types of molecules which are delivered through nanotechnology. And then now there are a lot of drug delivery technology transactions which are happening. So small companies develop the drug delivery system, and then big company buy the system. And that is where, those are sold or acquired by the big companies like Pfizer. There is another area which is drug device, which is also nano-based drug devices which are developed. So they are robotic. So you can do your angioplasty, angiography. You can do the blockage of arteries can be easily removed with this swellable drug delivery system, because they go there where there is a blockage and then they swell. When they swell, they break the blockage, and then the blockage material goes away from the circulation. And this is another area where companies are working. So there is a lot to learn and lot to be done. So we have to know that this is the area now the researchers are focusing. So obviously we have to incorporate this data into curriculum. Because what I always tell the students is that today, if you are a student 2025, you are going to work as pharmacist till 2075. Because I started in 1971. I am still active for 50 plus years. So obviously every student has to think about 2075. So in 2075, you have seen that the computers in my life, they were requiring a huge room to accommodate computer. Now more powerful computers sit in your pocket as a cell phone. So in 30, 40 years, the computer technology has changed from huge big computers to a small phone. And all your nano drug delivery systems are changing the models. So if you say that, oh, I know about tablets and capsules, I am a good pharmacist, that will not work. You will have to learn nanotechnology, you will have to learn genetic manipulations and all those things, immunotherapy, because in another 15 years, this will be the mainstream medicine. And less medicine will be tablets and capsules. Mainstream medicine will be immunotherapy and nanoparticles. So these are some of my books I published in nanosciences. I did not show all of my books here, but I have 80 books, and they work on drug delivery systems, different kinds of gene delivery system, genomic driven healthcare and all those things. And I am also interested in nutraceuticals and this. So let us move to the next talk. Terima kasih for this talk, and Mathur Sukshma. Thanks for patient listening, and Dhanyawada and Todaraba. So if you have questions you want to ask now, or you want to, are there questions? You can look at it.
There are 3 questions.
We can put the second.
Yep. Okay.
There are actually 3 questions. Would you like to answer it right now or maybe later?
Whatever you say. There are questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. In the chat box,
Where is the chat box?
chat box.
Have we lost
First
that?
question, how can nanotechnology help in the targeted delivery of anticoagulant or antihypertensive drugs in patients with cardiovascular disease?
I'm going to cardiovascular disease.
Oh, it's about, okay, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we can
Yeah,
answer it
so I'm
later
going
on.
to talk about my second talk is on cardiovascular diseases.
Okay,
Oh, now
probably.
here is there.
Yeah,
So what about nanotechnology?
yeah,
for
maybe
that?
that's
Oh,
the second question.
how the
Yeah.
nanotechnology help in the targeted delivery of anticoagulant or antidepressant hypertensive drugs in patients with cardiovascular disease. So give me some time and we'll talk about this cardiovascular diseases application there.
Yeah.
So I have a question regarding specific issues that has emerged in past few years, given the recent increases in myocarditis among young adults, both post-viral and in some cases vaccine related. Do you think nanodrug delivery system can be designed to minimize systemic side effects while enabling precision therapy? You know, in COVID, what happened was the COVID vaccine, which was developed in a very short period of time, they did not have opportunity to study the side effects of the COVID, and they wanted to make more money. And that's why the pressure on government was so high that they allowed the Pfizer to manufacture or put the vaccine in the market. But they did not have data. What are the side effects of why myocarditis happened? Now, myocarditis happened not in all the patients. It has happened in a minuscule, very small number of patients, even though millions of people got the vaccine, but very few people got myocarditis. So now people are doing the research that what happened, what is the reason? Is it the genetics of that person, or is it the problem or reaction of the vaccine? So there are a lot of researches going on, and definitely in another 1 or 2 years we'll understand what is the problem because of the vaccine. And people are working on now mRNA vaccines, that messenger RNA vaccines, which are gradually overcome all these problems. So it is now matter of time that this myocarditis or lung infection, black fungus infection in lung, there were a lot of side effects which have been observed after COVID vaccine that can be reduced in due course of time. And probably nanotechnology will definitely help, but it needs more research and focused research on avoiding these things. So what is the next?
One question.
Did I answer the second question? What was the third
Yes,
question?
that was the third question, maybe the second one.
It was can all medicines be applied with nanodrug delivery system, and what type of the nanodrug which can be reached in the targeted site?
Yeah, see, chronic heart failure, nowadays they are finding out a lot of solutions for that, which I will discuss in the present next talk. Yeah, and I have a question regarding specific issue that has emerged in the past few years, given the recent. Oh, I answered that. So I answered all of the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you want, I can move to the second presentation.
Okay.
Oh, this is coming. Oh, thank you.
Prof.
I need that.
Yeah, actually, there is a student would like to ask you directly. Would that be fine? One student would like to ask you directly.
Yeah,
She just raised hands. So before we move to the next
okay,
chapter.
she can,
Yeah.
but she can chat,
Yeah.
type it.
But he wants to greet you as well. So is
Okay,
it okay.
let
Yeah.
me see his photo.
Oke, Salsa. Salsa
Show me
bisa
your
dengar Bu
view.
Atika?
Oh,
Hello.
Ya, tadi ada pertanyaan.
Yes. First of all, I would love to.
Ya.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Salsa
you are
masih mute. Bisa di
You are
unmute.
mute, yeah.
What about now?
Belum bisa
Did you
terdengar
guys-
ya?
Oh my God. Hold on.
Bisa terdengar.
Wait.
Yeah, it is. You have to unmute.
Yeah.
She still,
What?
she has to unmute, yeah.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, oke.
No.
Ah,
Ya,
ask her to chat, you know.
belum terdengar.
Um.
Oke.
Right. My check. What about now?
Sudah
Okay.
ada Bu
He's talking,
suaranya.
but we can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear from here. So maybe you can raise your hand again after the second chapter, probably,
Yeah.
Prof. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Also,
Mohon maaf.
I'm fine.
Salsa ini difikskan dulu ya mikrofonnya ya.
Alright.
Nanti di habis presentasi
Okay,
kedua
so-
bisa tanya.
Most of you had interest in cardiovascular drug, and it is a coincidence that I have my second presentation on cardiovascular application of nanodrug delivery systems in cardiovascular diseases. And probably this presentation will answer some of your questions. No?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe we can have this one.
Okay. Is it okay? You have to make a slideshow, no?
Yeah, I have to.
Put down here.
Yep. So. Oh, but nobody can.
This one.
How about now?
And put this up.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will go slideshow. Yeah,
Oh, still not yet. Not
Not done yet.
still looks like this small picture.
Oh, really?
Okay, I think now it will be
You
fine.
can do like, yeah, now it's.
now it is
now it's
okay?
normal, yeah, it's okay.
Okay, perfect.
Is it okay now?
Yeah,
Yes. Now,
perfect.
what again?
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
sounds good. So we are talking now on application of nanodrug delivery system for cardiovascular diseases. So you have nanostructured surfaces. We are nanoparticles or nanocomposites which can be used for different kinds of cardiovascular diseases. So you will find that cardiovascular diseases is a leading cause among the death of men and women in the United States. In early days, people used to say that women do not have heart diseases, but now it is very common that women also have a lot of different kinds of heart diseases, and it has been studied more and more there. And 1 out of every 4 deaths encompass the ailments related with heart, whether it is the heart attack or blood pressure or stroke or something related. And elevated blood pressure, hypertension is the leading risk factor for CVD, cardiovascular diseases, but it is often overlooked. So people don't care about their blood pressure. And when they don't care about their blood pressure, then they start having heart disease or heart attack after a few years if they neglect the blood pressure. And cardiovascular disease is referred to as the silent epidemic because larger number of people die of cardiovascular diseases than even COVID. But it is a silent epidemic because they don't die at one shot. 1 million people died in one day. That doesn't happen. In case of COVID, it was very interesting because in my area, Tampa area, we had one senior citizens nursing home, and in that senior citizen nursing home, in 1 week, more than 150 people died. And in second week, rest of the 300 people died, and it was all empty. But that type of thing doesn't happen for cardiovascular diseases. That's why it is called a silent epidemic. And we have currently failed to halt or reverse the silent epidemic, and majority of treatment approaches for CVD heavily rely on oral medication or invasive surgeries. And what is happening is that the lifestyle is changing. In good old days, 70%, 80% of the people were farmers, and they used to work very hard throughout the day. Nowadays, 30 to 40% people are sitting in the office on a chair in front of the computer. So sedentary lifestyle is creating more health problems, especially related to the cardiovascular diseases, and that is the challenge. So you can see that 1 in 6 males suffer from cardiovascular disease, 1 in 7 females suffer from cardiovascular diseases. And nowadays it is observed that cardiovascular diseases are seen in young people. Even at the age of 25, 30, 35, young people are dying of cardiovascular diseases because of the stress, because of ignoring the blood pressure, or because high sugar, but they never monitored the sugar, and this is where the problem is coming into the picture. So leading cause of the death is heart diseases are around 633,842, almost 23% of the death is caused by heart disease. Cancer causes around 22%, chronic lower respiratory diseases 5. So you can see that the most killer diseases are heart disease, followed by the cancer, and rest all diseases are only in one digit, 5%, 7%, 6%, 2%. But the cardiovascular and cancer is more than 20%. So cardiovascular diseases, standardized rate of death from coronary heart diseases is, in Lithuania, 610 people die, Latvia 4,000, Spain 6,000. So every country, based on what kind of stress level they have, the deaths are different. So every country represents a different death pattern for the things, and that's why nowadays cardiovascular nanomedicine has expanded beyond the designer nanocarriers, targeting specific body part, biosensors, actuators, devices, and they can be utilized for medical care in cardiovascular diseases, and people are using it. So this is a chart which tells about cardiovascular diseases in the Asia. So in Singapore, non-communicable diseases, 238 people out of 100,000 die. Chronic CVD is around 108. And when it comes to Indonesia, you can look at Indonesian number of deaths because of cardiovascular disease and diabetic mellitus is 3 times the one in Singapore. In Singapore, only 108 people die out of 100,000. In Indonesia, 300 people die out of 100,000. And non-communicable diseases, you'll find that you have 537 people die in Indonesia, as compared to Singapore number is 238. So 50% is there. And then Philippines number is also there. So in Asia, it appears that Indonesia faces a lot of cardiovascular diseases as compared to the other Asian countries. So women and heart disease, as I mentioned earlier, that in good old days, people used to don't worry about women's health. It was very common. Oh, she has a little bit pain in the heart. Don't worry, she will be okay. She has to cook now. So they ignore. But now as the women became aware of their health, you are now seeing that women go to doctor, they get treatment and all those things. So you'll find that 64% of women who die suddenly of coronary heart disease have no previous symptoms, but they suddenly die, coronary heart disease. 80% of heart diseases and stroke events may be prevented by lifestyle changes and education. So women also work in kitchen for whole day. So they don't have exercises per se, no life. And that's where the problem comes in picture. Now you can imagine that in early days, women used to have 8, 10 children. And when they have larger number of children, they had no chance to look at their body because they are looking after the kids. One kid, second kid, third kid, fourth kid, and their body used to deteriorate. So earlier the women used to die earlier than the men. But nowadays the things are changing and women are living longer than men. And you will find that women heart disease is gender dependent. And it is a very common thing that they are trying to find out the genetic reasons also, that whether if the mother has heart attack, can the daughter will get the heart attack or not. Like in breast cancer, they have definite evidence that if mother has breast cancer, 90% the daughter will get breast cancer. This is all. Like my mother had arthritis, I got arthritis. My mother had diabetes, I got diabetes. It may not come when you are 40 years old, but when you are 60 or 70, you definitely get those diseases from your parents. And that is all genetic transfer. So prevalence of cardiovascular risk factors are hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and overweight and obese. You will find that people on an average are becoming obese now. And oh, you can use that also. Okay.
Something.
And the cardiovascular disease is, oh, your battery is going here?
Yeah.
Okay. Connect it.
Yeah.
So cardiovascular prevalence is, and then smoking is another big reason for cardiovascular diseases in young people, because they are observing that young women in Southeast Asia smoke a lot. And tobacco among the youth is alarming, and that is leading to the cause of your cardiovascular diseases in younger people. And regional governments in Southeast Asia have begun to take initiatives to control cardiovascular diseases with improvement in surveillance method, education, health promotion. So nowadays you will find that even government is putting a lot of money in preventive cardiovascular diseases, especially youths and senior citizens. Because you will find I was in China, and in China probably every garden has now exercise equipment so that the cardiovascular diseases can be avoided. So if you look at what types of diseases get in heart, related to heart, is cardiomyopathy, cardiac arrhythmia, aneurysm, diseases, coronary artery diseases, and heart failure, and pericarditis or myocarditis, which is inflammation in pericardium or myocardium, and more myocarditis. We saw it in the during the COVID. So these are some of the cardiovascular diseases which are common, and this is where nanotechnology is trying to help all different types of heart diseases which can be possible. So types of cardiovascular diseases are there. There is a picture. This is a normal artery, and normal artery is very clear. The blood flow through the artery. But what happens is, over the period of time, as you age, the atherosclerotic plaque, the plaque start building up inside the artery, and then the blood flow does not be as smooth as in the normal artery. And because this blood flow doesn't go through, the heart doesn't receive the blood flow, or your brains don't get adequate blood flow. And these plaques, if you do not clean them, then it leads to heart attack and people die. So many a times you have 90% blockade, but you still don't die. So you don't care. And then one fine morning it becomes 91% and you are dead. So this is where you have to be cautious. So nowadays what they say is that every 10 years, if you do angioplasty, then you will avoid this. And now nanotechnology, they are coming up with nano robots which can go right at this point in the plaque. And then at the plaque, they swell. When they swell, they break the plaques, and then the plaques come out of the artery and make the way for blood to flow systematically. And this is called heart attacks, and angina, chest pain is common because of these blocks or plaques which are happening there. So coronary artery diseases, plaque builds up in an artery, and in the beginning you get anginal pain and angina there, and subsequently, if the coronary art plugs or the artery art plugs get blocked, then you get heart attack. So plaques crack and a blood clot blocks the artery, and finally you get the heart attack. And this can happen in any of the arteries. If they are directly connected with the heart, then definitely you start getting pain in the heart and then you die. So coronary artery disease is caused by atherosclerosis in coronary arteries, and coronary arteries carry blood to the heart. And if that heart doesn't get the blood, then you face the system. So congestive heart failure is another symptom where your heart get a serious long-term condition and get worse over the period of time. And people failure does not mean that the heart stops working completely, but it means that the heart no longer works as well as it should. And congestive heart failure is partial heart failure, and gradually, if you don't treat it properly, then definitely it leads to the heart attack because of the congestive heart failure. So there are heart wall diseases where, if the children have heart wall, then they replace it with the pericardium of cow or anything, and then the artificial heart wall gets calcified, and then you start getting heart wall diseases. Sometimes the heart wall don't work as they are required, and then you start seeing the angina pain or cardiac arrhythmia, because the heart wall's movement is not normalized, and that is how heart diseases leading further complications create. Then there is the stenosis. The flap of heart wall become too thick or steep and do not open right, which makes it hard blood to flow. So from artery, the two parts of the heart. So from the top part, it doesn't go to the bottom part and accumulates and creates pressure in the heart, and that is where the challenge comes in. Then regurgitation is the flaps of the wall do not close right, and the cause of this causes the blood to leak backward into the heart. And atresia is instead of opening and closing of the wall, solid piece of tissue blocks the blood flow. And these are some of the diseases which are related with. Then there is a cardiomyopathy, which is a type of heart disease that can cause the muscle tissue to become weak. And once it becomes weak and weaker, then it cannot pump the blood. And that's why gradually the blood doesn't circulate. So if you are standing, then your brain doesn't get enough blood, and then you start feeling dizziness. And cardiopathy may cause you heart wall problems and heart failure. Then heart arrhythmia is another thing which is directly related with the ionic channels there in the heart. And when heart doesn't beat as it should be, either beating too fast or too slow, it is normal for your heart to slow down during rest and speed up during stress. So there are cases where unusual heartbeat may be a more serious problem. And some people who are born with this condition, arrhythmia, and they untreated arrhythmia can result into cardiac arrest and may lead to stroke. And then there is another disease which we talked about, pericarditis, is a thin layer of tissue of pericardium around the heart. And if there is an inflammation in pericardium, then it becomes pericarditis, and that inflammation swells the pericardium, and then it disturbs the movement of the heart. And that's how pericarditis leads to further complications in the system. So normal signs and symptoms of cardiovascular diseases in men are tiredness. You are working very hard, and then suddenly you do the same work, but you are tired. And that is where you understand that you have definitely a heart problem. So you need to go to the doctor. Or chest pain is another thing. If you get chest pain once or twice, then definitely you need to go to the doctor, because there must be some blockage. And it is ideal, if you have little bit of chest pain, better to go to doctor and get it checked rather than ignoring it. Pain in the back or left arm, it is always, if you have a heart problem, then you will never get a pain in your right arm. It will always be your left arm, because heart is on the left side, and the blood circulation doesn't go through, and that's why you start having left arm pain. That is that is a symptom that you are having some cardiovascular problem, or trouble in breathing, fast heartbeat, or having to throw up. Many a times people throw up and they throw the blood. If you are throwing blood through mouth, you have a problem, because there is some leakage. The blood is coming out of the system and getting into your gastrointestinal tract and coming out. And that's where that is a symptom for this. In case of women, they don't show that prominent cardiovascular symptoms, but they have trouble sleeping. So many women cannot sleep. For hours together in the night, they don't sleep. And that's where there is a problem, because there must be some problem related to their blood pressure or related to their heart. Stomachache after eating is another reason. Sweating, heavy sweating, you feel weak, feeling dizzy, tiredness, chest pain, and some of the risk factors are there for the women, which are high blood pressure. This is common in both high blood pressure, unhealthy blood cholesterol levels, family history of heart problems. So you have to understand that if your parents had arrhythmia, or if your parents are hypertension, or if your parents are congestive heart failure, you need to be more cautious than the normal person, because you are definitely some minor changes in your body will lead to heart attack. And that's why, based on parents, their health, you can decide what kind of diseases you may have for your system. Then there is diabetes, and diabetes is growing in many countries, and that is one of the major reasons for heart failures. Being overweight. Now, I always tell, and because we are so many young students are here, I would like to really share that those people who consistently eat in McDonald's, go to KFC or eat pizza, over the period of time they gain the weight. They don't understand that they are gaining the weight. They like the taste of pizza and keep on eating. But you will see obesity in children now. There are a lot of children, they are very obese. Yesterday, when I was in Istanbul, I saw a 14-year-old boy. He must be around 200 kg. He was so big, and he was only eating chips in the boat we were moving, and he was only eating chips and French fries. So those who are young people, and if your father or mother had heart problem, please stop, avoid. Don't go to McDonald's, don't go to KFC, or don't go to Pizza Hut, because that is where your obesity will come, and that will lead to heart attack later. Smoking is another area. Age is another factor, because as you grow older, your body muscles get weak and weaker, and that's where you are. So now you have to make your muscles strong. So one of the best way to make your muscle strong is to exercise. If you ride your bike or if you jog, then you make your muscle strong. You do some exercises, do yoga, that helps. And if you are not exercising enough, because I have seen in America, the software engineers sit like this 14 hours, 15 hours, no exercises. And very young people, 35, 45 people die. Recently, one of the person went to the grocery store. He bought the grocery, put it in his Tesla car. Now, when you have a Tesla car, you have more stress because you have to pay more money. So that creates stress. You can drive a small car with cheaper price, but you want Tesla, then you get more stress. More stress lead to more cardiovascular diseases. And this person bought the grocery, put it in the trunk or dicky, and was sitting on the computer in the car, and his wife was waiting for him. He did not come. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. They went around. They did not realize that he is in the grocery store parking lot. Nobody bothered to see that Tesla was sitting there and he was dead. It happened very
Email.
and they complained to the police.
Cuma
Police
buat
said we want to
sertifikat,
reschedule
cuma
2
buat
days. He
dapat
can come back.
sertifikat email.
By the time his body was found next day, people looked at it and they saw a person with a computer open and dead, and not even 45 years old. This is because of not exercising enough, obesity, and eating the wrong food. And that is the challenge. So diagnosing coronary diseases nowadays, it is becoming very easy. If you are 35, 40 years old, when I became 40 years old, my wife gave a cup which has a caption that 40 is not the end of the life, but you can see from there. So as soon as you cross 45, 50, you need to do some of these testing so that you know whether you are eligible to get cardiovascular attack or not. So it is good. Prevention is better than cure for the cardiovascular. But now new technologies are there. So they have a coronary CT scan, angiography, CCTA, CT calcium scoring, abdominal aorta ultrasound, endocardiography, carotid ultrasound. So all these new technologies, and health insurance can pay that. And if you do it every 3, 4, 5 years, you will definitely be able to live longer without the heart problem, because these diagnostic cardiovascular diseases are very helpful in the system. So there are some newer tests which are called nuclear stress test or chest X-ray, Muga scan. These are new technologies which are helping you to understand whether your stress is creating problems with your heart. So if your genetic problems, your stress, your non-exercises, your smoking habits, all these are going to lead and definitely bring some cardiovascular problem there. So what is nanomaterials such as nanostructured surfaces, nanoparticles, nanocomposites represent a new viable source for future therapeutics for cardiovascular diseases, and special properties of nanomaterials such as intrinsic physicochemical properties, surface energy, surface topographies, could actively enhance the desirable responses with cardiovascular system, projecting a growing potential for clinical translation. So, recent progress on nanomaterials has opened up new opportunities for treating cardiovascular diseases, and successful translation of nanomaterials into cardiovascular applications require a comprehensive understanding of both nanomaterial, biomedicine, as well as cardiovascular diseases. An important concern relevant to cardiovascular nanomaterials is cellular response to nanomaterials and the toxicity of nanomaterials to the cardiovascular system. So you don't want to play with cardiovascular system for toxicity. So you have to be very cautious, because the heart once gone. So you cannot experiment on heart, your own heart. So that is where nanotechnology is, they are worried about use of nanotechnology. So nanotechnology holds tremendous potential to advance the current treatment of coronary heart diseases, and it assists in medical therapy by providing a safe and efficacious delivery platform. Variety of drugs aimed at modulating lipid disorder, decreasing inflammation, angiogenesis, other atherosclerotic diseases, plaques, and preventing plaque thrombosis. So there is a two-way approach. One is to use nano devices. So nano robots, nano balloons, all those things can remove the plaques. And other way is to use nano device or nano drug particles for delivering the drugs which are used for these diseases. So this is two-way approach which is people are doing it. So there are two other important area which is very important is called imaging. So there is a endothelial targeting, there is a macrophage targeting. So you can have different types of biomarkers are there, and they can tell you whether you are suffering from cardiovascular disease at an early stage. It is like cancer. If you catch the cancer in the phase 1, then you are lucky because you live longer. But if you catch the cancer at phase 4, you have few months to live. That is how for heart disease also it is like that. So if you catch in the early phases, so imaging heart is very important. And then there is a therapeutic approach which is endothelial targeting therapy, which uses polylactic glycolic acid, VLDL, collagen, IV or RDG perforation, or then there is a macrophage targeting where they use liposomes, reconstituted HDL, liposomes, gold nanoparticles. These are all different types of approaches which people are exploring for treating different types of thing. Another area what they are doing is when you put the stent, if you had a blockage, then you put a stent, and that stent prevents further blockage. And those stents can be used to, so they coat it with polymer and put a drug inside the stent. And then the drug is released over the period of time. So your endothelial challenges, recovery can happen, and that drug can be, stent can be polymerized, and it is very useful technology which is there using it. Nanotechnology may enhance tissue engineered graft material for application in coronary artery bypass, grafting by facilitating cellular infiltration and remodeling of the graft matrix. So that is another thing which is happening. So precisely, so now what we are doing is in infarcted heart, you will see that there are some challenges within the arteries of the heart system. And if there is a blockage, then it is hard to remove. So they are using some nano-targeted nanocarriers. So which can go into that particular, there are antibodies which take the dendrimer. Dendrimer is 1 to 10 nanometers. So it is one of the smallest nanoparticle. And dendrimer, all these sites, these are the sites where you can attach your drug, you can attach your antibody, you can attach an oligonucleotide here, or you can attach another marker here. So it can be used as diagnostic therapy as well as diagnostics. And these dendrimers can go inside the heart, and then they can remove the blockage, or they create more solution. Then there is cardiomyocytes, which is another area So we use different types of site-specific ligands. So you can use targeting peptides, anti-myosin, annexin V, or there are antibodies which are specifically useful there. And you will find that precisely engineering nanomaterial to optimize their desired properties, size, surface chemistry, magnetism, novel diagnostics, therapies can be developed using diagnostic accuracy. So many of these things are in clinical studies. It is not that today it is available, but people are working on reducing these type of cardiovascular challenges and improving the cardiovascular therapeutic efficacy. So nanoparticle mediated drug delivery system for treatment of ischemic heart disease. So they are using patches. So this patch can be attached to your heart and you can deliver that patch through robo. So the patch is carried by some nanorobo and it can enter into your body and it will reach to heart and leave the patch there. And then that patch will release the drug which is preventing ischemic heart disease. So that is a very localized treatment for heart disease. That is where people are exploring that. Then there is another way of putting the drug into intravenous system and delivering it. And third area what people are exploring is heating and magnetic guidance. So you use magnets from outside, like NMR. They use magnets. So those magnets can play with the nanoparticles which are metallic and they can break all the blockages or challenges there in the heart, and that is where they call heat targeted agents or magnetic targeted guidance, nanomaterials or other patches. So these are some of the new areas where nanotechnology is used in cardiovascular diseases. Majority of them are in clinical studies. Some of them are actively practiced because what people do in America, it is very interesting. If you come up with a new technology, then FDA allows you to apply for IND. IND is an investigational new drug. And in case of IND, if your patient is ready to use that drug, you can give it because it is investigational. Like when the COVID vaccine came, Pfizer said that our vaccine is IND, our vaccine is not drug. So when I took Pfizer vaccine, I gave in writing that I am not going to sue Pfizer. I'm taking it at my risk. That's what we wrote it was in very fine print, so we did not read. But we have given permission Pfizer to experiment on our body. But so all these technologies are in investigational drug delivery, IND, drug application. And then there is, once it is successful in like 1,000 patients, then you apply for new drug application. When it comes to new drug application, then FDA becomes strict and they make sure that it is safe for the people to use. And once that is applied and once you get the new drug application, then comes, they call it abbreviated drug application, which is generic. So you are now, a day will come when you will have immunotherapy generic. There are many biologics now, their patents are getting off. So those biologics will become generic now. So now the biologic injection costs like $2,000, $3,000 for some of these antibody. But over the period of time, that cost will come down to 200 or 100 drugs. And this is where the technology is changing the thing. So you can use nanotechnology for tissue repair in the heart. You can use stem cell drug delivery for regenerating the heart capacity. You can use injectable hydrogel network or low molecular protein, exosome, genetic material, RNA or DNA, a cell active factor or drugs. And these are all approaches which are explored to treat the cardiovascular diseases. And nanodrug carriers, what they are using are phospholipids, liposomes, liposome drug delivery, and you can use all these type of, you can incorporate some of the biologicals in there, like platelet endothelial cell adhesion molecule, PCAM, or endothelial leukocyte adhesion molecule, ELAM. These can be attached to the surface of the endothelial or smooth muscles, and then you can utilize them for the cardiovascular thing. So new drug carriers for cardiovascular, there are advantages of liposomes and disadvantages. You can see liposomes are widely used, but then disadvantage, it is widely used for treatment of low immunogenicity, ability to pass through the blood-brain barrier, and they are very useful for treating strokes, because in strokes, the blood doesn't go to brain, and in such scenario, liposomes are very useful there. They deliver the drug to prevent the stroke. And disadvantages include long-term stability and with premature drug release, and a lot of reticuloendothelial cells are used. So nano drug carriers are lipoproteins, which are another area which are widely used for delivering the drugs. And again, these are all in clinical studies, clinical level. Many different types of medical imaging, siRNA drug delivery, targeted drug delivery, and hosting membrane proteins. These are some of the technologies which are now experimental in the system. So you have different types of combination of copolymers which are used, PLA, PLGA, and you can read this at home. But block copolymers are used for phase manipulation, and topologically engineered antibody directed multi-block polymers are there. So nanoduct for cardiovascular, now you will see that some of the conjugated antiviral drugs like heparin, siRNA, Juduvidin, efavirenz, marovirok, all these drugs are used for cardiovascular diseases, and now they are converted and they are used for different types of herpes, HIV, influenza, and this type of things there. So dendrimers, time is only 5 minutes. I'll finish it.
Okay.
Yeah. So dendrimers are another thing which is commonly used, and we already talked about dendrimers. You can use different types of carriers, dendrimers for the drug. Then you have another area which is dendrimers applications are there. Please read it at home, and it will give you advantages and disadvantages of dendrimers. So nano drug carrier dendrimers, very flexible and versatile dendrimers are there. So this is a schematic representation of delivery of various nanocomposite materials in the blood vessel. And you can see the nanoparticles can move through RBCs and WBCs, and it can help you different types of lesions which are used. So material, the cardiovascular therapy uses all different types of nanoparticles, and many people are using, and they can be used for presently used drugs to get intellectual property developed. So current medicine is one treatment fits all. Future medicine is going to be more personalized diagnostic. So you have to diagnose and then provide the things. And this is where we need to learn, because by 2025, 2030, 35, you will find that more personalized medicine will be coming into the picture based on the genomics, and we will have to learn more about that. So this is really a very challenging area, and nanotechnology is providing a lot of opportunities for the treating cardiovascular diseases, and you will find different ways to treat and deliver the drugs. This is another targeting nanocarriers, how they can remove the atherosclerotic plaque is shown in the picture, and they attach to the plaque and then gradually break the plaque so that the arteries will be cleared. And there are other application of polyplex micelles installed with cyclic RGD peptides and ligand. They are used for gene delivery in vascular lesions, and they are another new area which is happening, but still in the research area. We are exploring delivering the peptides to find out cell responsive biomaterials which can treat your diseases. So you can look at all these are all different types of technologies which are used for cardiovascular and nanocarriers, and these are all beautiful pictures. You can study how these plaques are broken over the period of time. So we really, I would like to go a little faster, and you can read all these slides at home. So I will straightway go to the last slide. And I hope what we have to understand is that poor diet, high blood pressure, cholesterol, stress, smoking, obesity, these are the factors which cause cardiovascular diseases, and nothing can be helped with unless you decide to take a good diet. So you are the person who will prevent diseases, and nanotechnology devices are used for many areas, and there is definitely a lot of new things are happening. So people don't die immediately with cardiac attack, but then your ability to work is changing. And terima kasih. Okay, if you have
Alright.
questions, you can
Sure,
read.
yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Professor
We'll go
Yusman,
to chat.
for a comprehensive and insightful
Yeah.
talk. Yeah. Okay. Any question from the audience?
Very sounds like.
Maybe from Salsa?
Yeah, I answered Mario Caldas. Stephanie.
Which-
Oh, Salsa is ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First of all, I would love to say thank you for such an insightful presentation, sir. Is that okay if I ask for the previous material about the, injectable drug delivery?
Injectable drug delivery.
Hmm?
Injectable drug delivery. The drug delivery injected into the.
Yeah. Most of the drug deliveries are injectables.
Yeah.
So they all
So,
go through injections, and injections they can go. So what they do is you attach, suppose you take a dendrimer delivery. So you attach an antibody. That antibody is only specific to heart. And the dendrimer drug delivery system, which are normally coated polymers, and antibody is attached on the top. So it will take up to the heart and then deliver drug where you want to deliver it. So most of the time, all the cardiovascular diseases as on today, new technologies are mostly intravenous because they
I
go
see.
directly to the heart.
All right. Thank you, sir, for the explanation. But referring to the earlier slides where it was stated about injectable drug delivery, could you elaborate on why targeted injectable technologies have such a high number of products? Is this due to the market demand or clinical efficiency, maybe?
Couldn't understand. Ask her to repeat the question. I think
Specific questions, like, not that. So, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please repeat the question? Yeah.
Sure. Yes, I can. Referring to the earlier slides where it was stated about injectable drug delivery, could you perhaps elaborate on why targeted injectable technologies have such a high number of products? Is this to market demand or clinical efficiency?
Oh, the injectable product, because all the products which are developed with nanotechnology are there is a challenge of stability. When you have peptides, when you have proteins, oligonucleotides, if they are given orally, then they will degrade right within minutes. Because in oral system, there are a lot of enzymes. There are a lot of acidic environment is there. So they are not stable. So you want the effect of therapeutic proteins and peptides, then best way is injectables. And once it is injected, then it can go in systemic circulation, go to the targeted size and deliver it. So a time will come that you may have some good polymers which can protect proteins and peptides and given orally. So people are working on such areas of polymers. But today, why injectables are higher? Because they provide a stable supply of drug to the body. So injectables are preferred. And now you will find that in good old days, the injection syringes were big. So people used to get scared because of the size of the syringe. But nowadays, if you have taken COVID vaccine, you will not even feel that vaccine was given, because the COVID vaccine syringe was one of the smallest syringe, because the COVID vaccine was nanoparticle. It was liposome. So there was no big particles there. So it was easy to inject within no time. So similar thing will happen with all the nanoparticles. As on today, it is best way to deliver the drugs. That's why injectables are popular. Unstable drugs. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation,
Yeah.
sir.
Sama-sama.
Maybe she also asked about the market demand. Market demand.
No, again, yeah, your question is about market demand. Today, all these products are not sold in Kimia Pharma or any pharmacy apothecary. It is only controlled by the doctors who are specialized in such treatment. It is not that common doctor will be able to do that. So in my university, we are very close to Moffitt Cancer Research Center. So all the cancer clinical studies are done under the supervision of oncologists. And the more studies done, they will learn more and more side effect, toxic effect, and then only it will come down to common man or the common physician. So as on today, this is a very specialized area of therapy, and it is only happening in the hospitals. And not only all the hospitals, in very specific hospitals they can do that, because it is a very developed technology, and you know it is a skill. You need skills. Suppose you want to gene therapy, if you want to clip the genes, then you need really good skills, understanding, looking at the genes under the microscope and trying to separate out the amino acids which are not required. So this is not a common man's job as on today. Over the period of time, they will train, and then probably everybody will be able to use it. Any other question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think there are other
Yeah.
questions in the chat box. So the first question probably, so how can nanotech
Yeah.
help in
So nowadays, radiotherapy is now changing. In early days, when the person suffers from cancer, getting the echo. Okay. So person suffer from cancer, they used to get chemotherapy and they used to get radiation therapy. Nowadays, chemotherapy and radiation therapy is the last approach. What they do is they try to use chemotherapeutic or drugs, anti-cancer drugs, into nanoparticle, try to deliver targeted drug delivery, and try to see that if that anti-cancer drug can reduce the size of the tumors, then it works. So you don't need chemotherapy. When the cancer treatment started, at that time the scientist and the physician thought, the thought in their mind was poison kills the poison. And that's why most of the drugs which are used for chemotherapy are very highly poisonous materials, and they kill all the cells. But the new technology which is coming into the picture is a targeted technology for cancer, only going to a specific site in the body. And that's why today, if you go around cancer hospital, you will find people with hair, good health, but they are taking the treatment because the new technology is reducing the side effects of the chemotherapy. And radiotherapy is also, they are using different types of nanoparticles. So you reduce the amount of radiation which is used to treat the cancer patient. So automatically radiation levels, if they are reduced, then side effects will be less. So this is some of the advantages of using nanotechnology, and there are risks and hazards are involved. But that's why a trained physician has to do these techniques. And that's why it is restricted to certain specific hospitals. Gradually, it will grow. I remember 20 years back, the knee surgery was a specialized surgery. So very few hospitals used to do it. Now it is like a common surgery. So even in we have different types of, in India, I remember one of my friend was in a place called Kolhapur, which is a smaller town, but he had heart transplant in Kolhapur. When I was young and student, it was impossible to have that kind of surgery in smaller towns or villages. Now it is becoming common because more and more people are learning and trained for doing all these things. Cell in box technology, can it be used for any drug? say chronic disease with chronic pain, Alzheimer's, because this cell-in-box technology is to increase the number of useful cells in the body.
Is it like stem cell?
Yeah, like stem cell. If you want to put stem cells and make sure that stem cells help to regenerate. So cells in box is more towards regenerative medicine, not toward therapeutic medicine. That's why, it is one of the applications of nanotechnology. So I don't think as on today it can be used for Alzheimer's or pain management and all those things, because no cells will have direct impact on Alzheimer's. But what you have is for Alzheimer's now, the plaques, protein plaques, which are developed in brain, and that's why
Beta amyloid.
yeah, amyloids. So those amyloid size can be reduced with nanodrug delivery, and that is where liposomes are used. Liposome drug delivery used to reduce the amyloid sizes so that the synaptic connections will be still connected and you remember. But still, these are all in clinical studies. So probably another few years we'll need to find out whether this can be useful there. That's all.
Okay, Prof, maybe I have.
Yeah, terima kasih for everyone. Thank you for attending in the late evening. My apologies. I would have come to Stifar and met you in personal interaction, but next time.
We hope so.
So we all hope so. So, Pak Bayu, do you have any questions? You just raise hand
Yeah, just one last question, Prof.
from him.
Since we have many smart students in different, do you have a best advice for our students to, for example, to be brave, to study outside, abroad, and then to have a career outside of the country so they can have more experience and a better like understanding about pharmacy, etc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my request to students is that today is 2025. You think that you are going to be working as a pharmacist in 2075. But Kimia Pharma will not look what it is now. In 2075, it is going to be very different. Your pharmacy practice will be very different. The drugs which today you want, tablet capsules and liquid orals and all those things, may not be there. You may have very different personalized medicine or precision medicine. So my request to all of you is that try to treat your mind in such a way that start thinking that if I want to be a good professional person till 2075, I should learn more and more, learn new technologies, learn about what will be in future, and do not get stuck with tablet formulation. It is easy to get stuck with the traditional formulation, but you need to look for something which is futuristic, which is going to be in future. So if you have opportunity, you are welcome to go around the world. Wherever there are new researches happening, try to find out, read the literature, and create your own research projects which can be path breaking, which can create a new path for new therapy. And that is how you start thinking about what I want to do in my future career. You don't want to say, oh, I know counting from 1 to 30, so I will count 1 to 30 pills, because pills will disappear. After 15 years, pills will not be there. So your counting of 1 to 30 will have no value. So you need to be a valuable professional contributing good for the society. So you need to be always on your toes to learn new things.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So terima kasih. Go ahead. Thank you.
So I think the best advice already spelled out to wrap up our session this evening. Yeah, before that, actually we've got another thing to do. It's to express our sincere appreciation for you for having us here join this session, like international guest lecture for the first time. This is actually our very first international
Yeah.
session.
Thank
but
you.
yeah.
Terima kasih.
There's certification of appreciation, and I think there's Dr. Kiki think we has the participants here.
Hello? Okay. Oh, okay. I think I need to repeat it one more time. So, yeah. So before we really close the session, there is another thing we need to do. It's like to give you certificate of appreciation, but it's done virtually. So here we need Dr. Kiki. Are you there? Yeah, Dr. Kiki is the Vice Dean, right? Vice Dean in Academic Affairs, Prof. Yeah, she couldn't join us in this room, but she's available like throughout the session. Okay, Dr. Kiki. Ah, yeah. Can you please open your cam?
Ya, nggak bisa unmute tadi Bu Atika. Sudah ya? Sudah terdengar? Bu Atika?
Oh, yeah.
Sudah terdengar ya?
Ah, sudah.
It's Dr. Kiki.
Okay.
Oke, good evening, Profesor Patah.
Ya, selamat malam.
Selamat malam. Selamat datang di
Iya.
Semarang yang panas.
It's hot city.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mohon izin Bu Haryanti. As we approach the closing of this insightful and inspiring session, it is my great honor, on behalf of Stiva Yayasan Farmasi Semarang, Indonesia, to express our deepest appreciation to Professor Yaswan Visnupan Pathak for sharing his invaluable expertise with us today. As a token of our gratitude and respect, we are pleased to present you with this certificate of appreciation in recognition of your outstanding contribution as a distinguished guest lecturer in our international guest lecture. Although this certificate is being presented virtually, the appreciation it represents is sincere and heartfelt. Thank you once again, Professor Pathak, for your generosity, your time, and your continued dedication to advancing pharmaceutical science globally. Congratulations and thank you.
Terima kasih, terima kasih. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Okay. Please echo. Still echo. Okay. Thank you, Professor Yaswan and Dr. Kiki, and for this actually a moment for us, yeah, to remember that
Thank you very
you already gave us a
Okay.
very special time, yeah, for having us a shared moment here. Okay. As we come to the end of this lecture, I would like to thank everyone that already participate here, especially for those asking lots of questions and very interesting ones,
believe
right?
me.
Yeah. Okay. And this event actually reflects our school, Stiva Yayasan Farmasi Semarang, commitment to the academic and also international collaboration, bro. And hopefully we can continue building this
Sure.
momentum in the next future.
Okay.
Okay. Before we close, we'd love to take a group photo. Yeah. So it's
Oh.
like Zoom, and
Yeah.
then we can go like next
Yeah, yeah. Go
page,
ahead.
yeah, things like that. Okay. Ya, Mas Rohmat, mungkin bisa dipandu Mas, 1, 2, 3-nya.
Matikan.
Stop share screen.
Oh,
Okay.
ya, Mas Rohmat.
Matikan, you can count.
Oke, saya mulai
Okay,
dari
I think I will do this
Sudah,
myself.
Mas Rahmat, sudah?
Yeah.
ya silakan yang belum bisa di open video dulu ya. Kita foto sebentar. Nah, oke, saya mulai dari back pertama dulu, slide pertama.
Dihitung ya Mas.
Slide 1, oke. Slide 2.
It's like it's speaking bahasa.
Slide 3. Slide 4. Slide 5.
These slides.
Lots of students, lots of pages.
Almost 700.
Slide 6. Slide 7. Slide 8.
Berarti kan udah.
9.
Yeah.
10.
All done? It's done now?
No, then yeah, it's still
11.
it got 20 pages.
Oh.
People here for 4 of 23.
12.
It will not be there. No, no, it's done for me.
Yeah, but it's. Okay.
13. Udah berarti Kak, sepertinya sampai sini aja karena off. Ya,
Okay.
Terima kasih.
Okay, Prof. Yuswan, again, thank you so much. And also for everyone here, have a good night and we look forward to seeing you at the next
Thank you.
event. Okay, stay
Terima
safe and
kasih.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Selamat malam.
wabarakatuh. Selamat malam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Thank you,
wabarakatuh.
Malam juga, Bu.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.